योनित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः. In Eternal Wisdom series, we learned a very important sloka in the previous session, which is Jnananandamayam Devam on Bhagavan Hayagriva, who can bestow all kinds of knowledge to us. So we will recite that, recap a little bit of what we did in the previous session before going on to the session. Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmare. We learned one more sloka from Mahabharata, which said, whether it is dharma or artha or kama or moksha, any of the four purusharthas, what is there in Mahabharata may be there outside, may not be there. But whatever is outside will definitely be there in Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is a compendium of all sorts of knowledge. Right? So this sloka reads, Dharme cha arthe cha Kamesha mokshe cha Bharatarshava Itihasti Tadanyatra Yenne hasti natatvachit. So in this context, we learned about the greatness of our scriptures, the Vedas, just like Bhagavan. It is Anadi, Apaurusheya, Ananta. Any of you can recollect what is Anadi? Anadi? Antaha Nasti. There is no end to it. It is endless. Anadi. Apaurusheya. Purushena Nirmitam. It is not authored by anybody, which means Desha, Kala. The two things are not there. And Ananta. Anta. It is okay. Anati, which is like, it is not even written by Bhagavan, right? Ananta, it is endless. Apaurusheya, it is not authored by anybody. For these reasons, Vedas are our pramanas. So when we say Vedas are the pramanas, whatever is mentioned in the Vedas, we take it as, okay, this is what we are going to do. Okay. Now, how many Vedas are there? How many Vedas are there? 4 Vedas. Were always there 4 Vedas there? Did we always have 4 Vedas?
There are many, but Veda Vyasa Mahasi has categorized.
Actually, when we say Ananta by Vedaha, Vedas are nothing but the universal knowledge. Anything we think here is Vedas. Any form of knowledge, the universal knowledge is Vedas. So Veda Vyasa Maharishi compiled them into 4 parts for us. So what did he do? He gave us, okay, these are the Rigvedas, these are the Yajurvedas, these are the Samavedas, these are the Atharva Vedas. Now, how did he classify it? What went into each of these Vedas? And why do we even need this? Okay, that's the fundamental question. Today, anything that we do, what's in it for me? Why is it important for me? We ask that question, right? Oh, Vedas, it's a long back. Why do I need it now? So to understand that question, we have to understand what are the means of gaining knowledge. Today, if we look at what are some of the means for us to know whatever is happening, we speak of 3 things. Pratyaksha. What is Pratyaksha? We see it, we know it is there. Are we sitting in a room? We are sitting in a room. How do we know that? Because we are here, we are seeing it, we are hearing this. So something is happening now and here. That is Pratyaksha. Now, when I started this program, I said it is day 2. Maybe 1 or 2 of you did not attend the previous class, but you will know that this is the second session. Why? Because, okay, I started it with day 2, I started with a recap. So, because I started with a recap, something should have happened earlier. Correct? Because there is something that has happened earlier, only because of that I am able to give a recap. So, okay, we know that something has happened earlier, this is a continuity. Now suppose I do not know what is happening now. I do not know what has happened earlier. It is something totally new or abstract to me. How do I understand? I am not able to see it. I am not able to understand it with the pratyaksha pramanas. I am not able to infer anything. How do I understand it? For example, Upanishad speaks about a lot of such statements. Okay, Aham Atma Brahma. What do we understand? What is Brahma? What is Atma? What do we mean by Aham Atma Brahma? Tattvamasi. What is this statement? How do we understand? So for these kind of statements, we have no clue of what it is. You go to a doctor. Now the doctor will give some kind of a statement. Okay, he will say, because all these are happening, maybe that person is suffering from this particular disorder. Now we have no clue of what is happening inside the body. But because the doctor says, we take it as a authority, pramana. Doctor's vakya is the pramana when it comes to health. Have any of us visited some possibly moon or Mars? When people say that they landed, okay, pramana, elders are saying, okay, we accept it. There are 9 planets, just we go see all the planets, pramana. So what happens? Whatever is told as shabda, that becomes the pramana. When we are not able to see things for ourselves, when we are not able to infer things, shabda becomes the pramana. Whatever is told by wise, knowledgeable people is pramana. That is where we have to be very careful. Who is wise, who is truly knowledgeable? That makes all the difference. Okay, so that becomes the pramana. So the pramana here is actually pratyaksha, anumana and shabda pramana. 3 types of pramana. So whenever we do not have any solid base to understand anything, the only solution for us is to go to the shabda pramana. By shabda pramana we mean the Vedas. Okay. Now we are learning about the traditional way of learning things, right? How do our elders, the other day we were discussing, Veda Vyasa Maharishi is sitting here, Valmiki Maharishi is sitting here, Vishwamitra Maharishi is sitting here, Bhagavad Ramanuja is sitting here. How do they understand things? How do they interpret things? As against how we are doing it today. Starting from the date we saw everything is different, right? So like that we notice the pratyaksha, anumana, shabda, all these have different ways of interpretation. So when we get into their way of thinking, we can understand that Vedas, the Pramanas, are divided into 4 categories, which was compiled by Vedavyasa. He did not author it. He compiled it for our sake. How did he compile? All the hymns became Rigveda. Anything in the form of hymns became Rigveda. Yajurveda was prose. The prose compilation was Yajus. Yajus actually is the sacrifice, right? So Yajurveda, when you combine the sandhi becomes Yajurveda. So when you say it as Yajurveda, it is fine, or Yajus is correct. So Yajurveda. Samaveda. Samaveda is the musical way. When you sing, it is Samaveda. So that's where the Sangeeta Shastra is born, from Samaveda. Atharva Veda has a combination. It can have hymns, it can have prose, a lot of things which are applicable today. You can find it in Atharva Veda. It is a seed of lot of information. So it's like Yajur, Sama, Atharva. These are the 4 Vedas. Now when you think of all these 4 Vedas, most of it was Shruti Parampara. The Vedas were heard and taught. Shruti. Shruti means hearing. So you hear, you teach. You hear, you teach. That's the way knowledge was transferred. Today, most of it is written down. Unless you write it down, unless this document is signed, we don't take it as a authoritative text, right? Only if it is written, it is signed by respective parties, we accept it. Earlier days, it was not like that. Words had a lot of power. Words had a lot of value. So the Vedas were heard and taught by the Guru. In fact, Bhagavan Sri Rama, one of the adjectives which Valmiki Maharshi uses in Srimad Ramayana is Bahushrota. Bhagavan Sri Rama was a very good listener, it seems. So Bahushrota, he always keeps listening to whatever the elders had to say. So when we listen, what happens? a lot of knowledge is retained in us. You know, there is a Sanskrit Subhashitam which says, Pustakastatiya vidya parahaste chedanam karyakale samayate nacha vidya nataddanam. You know, the knowledge which is there just in the books or money which is there in somebody else's hand, it is not going to come to us in the time of need. Today what happens? Knowledge is stored in the computer. Without the system, if we have to talk, it becomes a very difficult thing. Leave alone talking without the system. Our mobile is not there with us for a few minutes and we want to call even our first circle people. Do we know the numbers? We are so dependent on the gadgets today. In fact, I remember during our school, calculators was not allowed. So much of mental calculation was possible. Today, even for basic calculations, we need, the system. So what happens is, what is in our mind is a lot more powerful than depending on other things. So our ancestors, what did they do? They used the oral tradition. Now I have a question for all of you. Let us just think. We have books, written books, right? Do the books stay for a longer duration, or what is there in the mind stays for a longer duration? Let us think about it. We have a book, a written document. We have something which is in the mind, which has a longer life. Today's belief system will say that books have a longer life. Okay? Suppose a book was published 20 years back. It has gone through the first revision. After a few years, it goes through the second revision. Now the fifth edition is done with a lot of revision. Oh, in the first edition I had mentioned this point. What is that point? If somebody wants to recollect, what do? There is no way out to recollect. In fact, when I studied, we used to use the floppy disks, okay, to store data. I did some project. Now I'm really curious to know what was my first project that I did. I wanted to see how the coding in C language was there. I'm not even able to retrieve it because technology has changed. What I had stored in the floppy disk is not accessible today for me. But the sloka, this pustakasta, I learned when I was in 8th standard as a subhashita. I'm able to recollect that today. How does that happen? Because the human brain is capable of storing a lot of information. Today, a lot of civilizations are not existing, but our Sanatana Dharma is existing. The culture in Bharatam is existing. Why? Because it was oral tradition. The oral tradition, what did people do? There were a lot of rules on how we had to recite the Vedas. Nalanda was burnt. In fact, there are records which say that the burning of that was so intense that 6 months of all these granthas were burnt. After everything is burnt to ashes, today we are still able to listen to people recite Vedas. How is it possible? Because they had it in their memory. Okay? So oral tradition helps us retain a lot of information. It actually contradicts our current knowledge system, right? So we will see how our ancestors used techniques in order to remember it. That will make it very interesting. So let us see. Now, some of the information that were contained in the Vedas are so relevant even today. Okay? So before I go on to specifics of oral tradition, let's just see this. This is from the Atharva Veda, a sloka. In fact, a similar sloka is there even in the Rigveda, a mantra. When it comes to Vedas, we call them mantras. They are not just slokas. So this speaks about the Surya Deva. Surya Deva uses 7 horses to go around. Usually only even numbers are used, right? Today we see cars. The car will have 4 wheels. 2-wheelers will have 2 wheels, right? Why is it that he has 7 horses? It's an odd number. Horses will go in every direction. And it says he has only 1 wheel. Eka Chakra. Surya Bhagawan has 1 chakra. He has 7 horses. How does he manage with all this? Very interesting thing. So this mantra speaks about Eka Chakra actually means the cycle of the sun. You know, the solar year. We speak about chakra in a very interesting way. In Sanatana Dharma, we do not believe in past, present, future. We speak about Kala in terms of chakra. Kala Chakra. Time is cyclic. So Surya Bhagawan starts from a location, returns back to the same location in 1 year's time. That is why he is called as Eka Chakra. Okay, Surya Bhagawan is Eka Chakra. He has 7 horses. People say that is to interpret the 7 different colors which come out. Surya's light is white in color, right? So the 7 different colors which it emits. In fact, his horses in many places will be depicted with a pure color, the middle being green. Today we give all the names, right? Violet, indigo, blue, green. Pure colors are there. Surya has 7 horses. In fact, people say it also depicts the 7 days of the week. So a lot of such information comes from the Vedas. So if we look at a little more details. Now, I said Surya's wheel depicts the Kala Chakra, Kala Tattva, and I said this is from the Atharva Veda. There are also a lot of text which speaks about the greatness of Surya. I will be speaking about one more sloka which comes after this, one of my very favorite slokas. Now, before going into further details, a question to all of you. Now, let's make this session very interactive. Now, tell me, today we go out, we step out, we walk in the roads. We see a lot of inventions and discoveries that's there, right? What is one of the greatest inventions of our times or human life itself? What is one of the greatest inventions?
Wheel.
Why?
It kept moving. You just could see that from the bicycle, then became a tricycle, and then became a car. So people were able to transport and move from one
Okay, it's a
place.
means of transportation, very important. What else? Wheel is one of the greatest inventions, yeah? Time is one of the greatest inventions. Interesting. Now, let us just think about it. We have the light bulbs here. Who invented the light bulbs?
Edison.
Thomas Alva Edison. Okay, he invented the light bulb. Now, we have a lot of other interesting technologies. Each one of it, when I ask, you will be able to say who invented it, right? Who invented gravity? Isaac Newton. Now, who invented wheels? You said it's one of the very important inventions of our times. Who invented wheels?
It's a caveman.
Cavemen. In fact, if you go and Google it, it will say, in Mesopotamia, during those times, Babylon, a lot of things like that. Now, if we just think about it, the only things where we will not know the inventor is if it was created in Bharatam. That is the only place where the inventors will not take credit. Because we always felt, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, let everybody use whatever we have. We will never say, this is the author, this is what it belongs. We don't believe in copyrights, trademarks. I have something, let everybody use it. That has always been our tendency. Now we are in the knowledge economy. We spoke about it in the previous session. We are in the knowledge economy. In the knowledge economy, what is happening is, whoever has the maximum copyrights, trademarks, are going to be the leader in the economical things. Now, what we've done, we've not taken copyright for anything. In fact, we do not know what is there in the index page. We do not know what belongs to us, right? Because we don't know, how will we take a copyright? Suppose somebody comes and steals a person's house. Everything is gone. He goes and complains to the police. Everything in my house is gone. The police will first of all say, what all were there in your house? If he is not able to index it, it means it was not there. Now, if somebody comes and asks us, what all was there, in your traditional system, would we know it? Unless we know it, how will we copyright it? Unless we copyright it, how will people know it is from Bharata? Right? Now, for example, wheel. So, the concept of wheel, one of the greatest inventions. Without that, today, transportation will not be possible. Think about it. People cannot go even in two-wheelers, four-wheelers, any kind of transportation. It needs wheels. Starting from making a pot to everything needed wheels. Now, our Sanatana Dharma, I spoke about Kala Chakra in the previous slide, right? Where Surya Bhagawan is Eka Chakri. That was mentioned in Rigveda and in Atharva Veda, which means the concept of chakra is there in the Anadi Apaurushaya Grantha. Even in the world's accepted books, Rigveda is the oldest written document which has the concept of wheel. Okay. Now, if we copyright wheel, think of how economically powerful our country will be, right? But we did not. So that is the greatness of the chakra. Now this is a sloka which speaks about the chakra. It speaks about not just the chakra. It says it helps in moving. It speaks about the hubs, the spokes, the different parts of it, the different uses, not just for travel, even in missionary. How the wheel is used in different missionaries also mentioned in the sloka. So this is part of the Ratha Sukta in Rigveda. Now the Ratha Sukta in Rigveda, usually they will give three different numbers, say 3.5, 3.19. How do we understand what it actually means, right? Now when we say a particular topic in current scenario, what do? We speak about the topic, the chapter and the particular heading or subheading. Similarly in Rigveda, the topic is called as the mandala, the chapter, the hymn, and within that, which is the verse. This is a very loose translation. It really does not mean chapter, but that's one way for us to understand it easily. Okay, so it will always come as x.y.z, and that is the way we interpret it. Okay, mandala, hymn, and verse. Okay, a very interesting sloka. Now, this is part of the Bhashyam of Sayanacharya for one of the mantras in Rigveda. So this sloka says, Yojananam sahasre dve, dve shate, dve cha yojane. It's very easy for us to understand. Sahasra, what is sahasra? 1,000. All of us know that sahasra is 1,000. Yojana is a measurement. Today we speak about kilometers, miles and all that, right? Yojana is a measurement. So in that measurement, sahasre dve, dve means 2. Sahasre dve, 3,000. 2 into 1,000, 2,000. Yojananam sahasre dve, 2,000 yojanas. Dve shate, shata 100. Dve shate 200. Dve cha yojane, add 2 to it. How specific they are. 2,000 plus 200 plus 2. Okay, so add this together. And then it says, Ekena nimisha dena, in half a nimisha. In half a nimisha. What does nimisha means? Nimisha means blinking of the eyelid. It is not one nimisham, like what we are used to. Nimisha means blinking of an eyelid. In half the time of blinking of the eyelid, Kramamana Namosute, the one who is able to travel, to him I offer my salutations. So this is a mantra on Bhagavan Surya mantra. So what does this say? It offers the humble salutation to Surya Bhagavan, who is able to traverse a distance of 2,202 yojanas in half a nimisha. Now, why is this important to us? Okay, if you look at it, what is a yojana? So now we know the distance travelled is 2,202 yojanas. So one yojana is approximately 9 miles. Okay, approximately 9 miles. So, which is 110 yards. I have given the value here. 21,144.705 miles. Okay, that is the distance covered. In what is duration? In half a nimisha, which is 1 by 8.75 seconds. Okay. Now, if you do the mathematical calculation, if anybody is interested, I have the calculations, I can forward it to you. So, what happens here is, if you calculate this, the result of this, very interestingly, is the speed of light. The speed of light is 185,016.169 miles per second. This is there in the Shayanacharya's Rigveda Bhashya. Okay, the oldest text. So Rigveda Bhashya has it. And now what we are taught is the modern value, which was found by Michelson and Morley in 1887 AD, is 186,282.397 months, less than, plus or minus 0.5 deviation. So this is from Vedas, the Bhashyas of the Vedas. So much of knowledge treasure is there in our scriptures. So, I was telling you, right, it is all research. We just look into it. It is available for us. But we have to know the Bhasha, we have to know what our ancestors have told and understand it accordingly. Another very interesting part of this is, today if somebody discovers it, we call them scientists. Scientists need not be believers, is a perception that is sent to everybody. Now, what did our Rig mantra say? It said, Yojananam sahasre dve dveshate dvesha yojane. This person sits here and speaks about the speed of light. Kramamana namostute. I offer my humble salutations to you, O Surya Bhagawan. It is not that how great I am to discover the speed. No. Just like I offer my absolute salutations to that great Surya Deva. That is our Bharatiya Sanskriti. It is always about the greatness of everybody who can offer help to us. Right? So, Surya Bhagavans, this is there in 1.50.4 for your understanding. I have expanded it here. Mandala 1, Hymn 50, verse 4. That's the way we understand. Okay? Now, these Vedas has layers inside it. So we were speaking about the Shruti Parampara, how we hear everything, right? So there are layers inside the Vedas. There are 4 layers which we have to understand. So the first is called Samhita, then the Brahmanam, Aranyaka, Upanishad. These are the 4 layers. Can we tell it together? Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam, Upanishad. Okay. Now, each of this is very important. In fact, it is very closely tied to the 4 varnashramas. In our everyday life, people are initially in the brahmacharyam, where they go for studies, bachelors. After that, grihastha-ashrama, they get married, they live a household life. Then vanaprastham, it's like a retirement life, where they start contemplating on all they had learned. Finally, the sannyasa, where they actually think about Bhagavan, take efforts to attain moksha, a lot of things like that happens. Okay. Now, these are very closely tied to Samhita, because Samhita and Brahmacharyam are closely tied together. During the Brahmacharya time, all these kids are taught how to recite the Vedas. Samhita is basically, I was speaking about oral tradition, let's connect it now. How you recite something. Now, all the way during his childhood, he learns how to recite. He may not know the meanings. He will not know what is what. Now he comes to the next stage, he gets married. He's learned all the theoretical part, practicals. Now he comes and he sets up an Yajna-kunda. Bachelors do not have rights to fire. Only Grihasthas have rights to fire. Now he's setting up this. Now he's like, should it be a square or a rectangle? What should be the measurement? What should be the height? All these questions starts coming in his mind. So the rules of vidhis, of how to do something, who is the main deity, who should offer this, all these specific details are part of the Brahmanas. Okay. Now Aranyaka, he's done a lot of things, and after repeatedly doing it, he gains confidence. Hey, I did a Putra Kameshti Yagam and I was blessed with a child. I did a yajna for the rain to come, and the rain did come. In fact, even now in Kerala, they perform a yajna. Immediately after the yajna, rain will pour. People say even when you sing Amrita Varshini Raga, it pours, right? The yajnas are there to trigger heavy rainfalls. In fact, there are many mantras. If there is a sting of a scorpio, you recite a mantra and the sting gets removed. A lot of things are like that. There is this Atiratra yajna. When that is performed, the pollution around disappears. Many such things are there. So what happens? This person has been following all these, he's seeing the results. when we see the results, pratyaksham, our confidence improves. Right? We gain a lot of confidence. I did this and I had immediate results. Right? So, when all the references are established, that is when he starts thinking, is this all that I want? Is there something bigger which I am missing? He starts contemplating on the deeper things. That is the Aranyakam. Aranya is a forest. So it's like a forest dwelling where you are by yourself thinking about how these are connected to greater realities. And finally, Upanishads. It is about contemplating on Bhagavan. Closer. Going closer to Bhagavan. Okay? So, all these things are the layers of the different Vedas. Now, just to tell you the importance of Samhita, I will touch upon a very important thing. So, this slide basically is about how much we had and how much we lost. The Rigveda, we used to have 24, 21 depending on how it is grouped, and now we have only 10 shakas which is available. Yajurveda, 101 was there, now we have only 3. Samaveda, Sahasra Shaka we used to say, now we have only 3. Atharva Veda we used to have 9 and now we have only 1. A lot of things are lost. But what's important is the little that we have. Are we optimizing it? Are we putting our 100% into what is available so that that is retained? Right? So, here, going back to our Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and so here, I have just grouped it into different things. I will explain it. It might be a little small to watch, but I can explain this. So here, you have 11 different categories in Samhita. I was telling you, oral tradition is very tight-knitted, right? So I will explain that. So for example, you have a particular mantra. How did they by heart these mantras? How did they ensure that nothing was inserted or deleted in these mantras? Because wherever we go, we hear the same mantra the same way, right? Agnimile Purohitam, everywhere. North India, South India, outside Bharatam, everywhere, everybody will recite it the same way. How are we able to maintain this for thousands and thousands of years? It is because of Samhita. Now what happens is, this Samhita is first divided and given a pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like that. The entire line is first recited. Okay. So that is called as the Vakya Pada. Vakya Pada means the entire Vakya, the entire sentence is recited. After that you have what we call as a Pada Pada. The same mantra is divided into individual words and the words are repeated. So you know how many words are there in this particular sloka. After that, the first and second, the second and third, third and fourth and fifth, like that they combine and they recite. Okay. So this is called as a Krama Pada. After that, 1, 2, 2, 1. The first and second, the second and the first. So it is like the reverse order. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. They will recite. So 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. Like that they will recite. So that is a next level which is called as the Jata Pada. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. So that is the next level. So like this they have different kinds of Pata. So the last one, if you notice, you will see 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. That kind of a combination will be there. They will recite and they will by heart. It's a very, very complicated form of thing to recite. That is called as Gana. Gana means grouping. People who recite this are called as Ganapadigal. So it's a very complicated form of recitation. When they recite that, they are called Ganapadis. So to make it easier, I will explain with an example. So let us take this very important mantra, Agnimile Purohitam. Yajnasya Deva Ritvitam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam. This is the mantra. Okay. We are not going to recite it in the mantra form because that needs diksha. So we are just going to understand how this goes. Okay. Now here if you notice, how many words are there? Agnim, Ide, Purohitam, Yajnasya, Devam, Ritvitam, Hotaram, Ratnagatam. How many words are there? 8 words are there. Okay. So let us see. So in Samhita what happens? 1, 2, 3. What are the first 3 words? Agnimile Purohitam. Agnimile Purohitam. That's how they will recite. Okay. Then in Padapata, the breaks I have listed now, right? This 8. It will be recited like that. Agnim, Ide, Purohitam, Yajnasya, like that it will be recited. Now in Kramapata, 1, 2, 2, 3. So let us try how do we recite 1, 2, 2, 3. Agnile, Ile, Purohitam, Purohitam, Yajnasya, Yajnasya. Attempt. Okay, so that is where I have given everything on the left side, for the ease of things. So let us now try Mala. How do you do Mala? So Mala is 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. How do you do? See this left side and you can do it. Mala. Don't see the solution. So 1, 2, Agnile 2, 3, Ile Purohitam 3, 2, Purohitam Yajnasya 2, 1. Ile Agnim. So that is how it goes. Okay. Now let's go to the most complicated form, which is Ganapata. So Ganapata 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. How will it go? Agnim Ile, Ile Agnim, Agnim Ile Purohitam. So then the next one. Ile Purohitam, Purohitam Ile, Ile Purohitam Agnim. So like this, the entire mantra will be by hearted. They will keep doing it over and over and over again so that it is registered in the mind. So this way they lock what is learned. Right? So when that is learned and by hearted, it never leaves the person's mind. So when you ask people, what is the meaning of this? Meaning is not important for them because sound has the vibration. For example, when a person is singing swaras, Janda Varisai, Tata Varisai, like that. And you go and ask them, like, what is the meaning of Sasa Ridi Gaga Mama? It is a sound, right? So, that sound has the power by itself. Like that, these mantras have a power by itself. The sound is important and not the meaning. When we say meaning is important, then what happens? The next step we'll say, then I'll write it in my own words. So, Agni Mele Purohitam will become, say, another word for Agni. We can use, Jwala? Jwala. So we use a different word. Is it allowed? No. So what happens is, only this will get that output that we want, that result that we want. So sounds are important and not the meaning as far as Samhita goes. Okay. So, Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam and Upanishads. So Brahmanam, I basically explained this. So Brahmanam is basically when the Grihastha-ashrama, everything is set up and they want to practice it. Then Aranyakam is when they contemplate. I've given examples of each. For example, Sahana Vavatu, the beautiful mantra is part of the Aranyakam. Where people think, a student is there. It's a conversation between a teacher and student. We use it as a Shanti mantra. But what a beautiful way of communicating it is. It basically says, the teacher and student, let us move together. Let us learn together. Teacher and student learning together was there in Sanatana Dharma. And they say that, let both our brilliance improve. Let there be no differences between us. So this is the Sahana Bhavatu mantra. So, Upanishad is the deeper one where it speaks about Isha Vashamidam Sarvam. Everything is Brahman. What are we going to do about the wealth we acquired? There is no need for all this. So, thinking about the divine, helping ourselves go close to the divine, that is Upanishads. So, to conclude this sloka on Upanishad, there are 10 Upanishads. Okay? So, 10 Upanishads are attached to the Vedas. We said there are layers in the Vedas, right? So, the layers can be Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam and Upanishads. So when we come to Upanishads, there are 10 in number, which I have shown in this chart. Aitariya, Katha, Taittiriya, Isha, Brihadaranyaka, Kena, Chandakya, Prashna, Mundaka and Madhukya. How do we remember these Upanishads? It's very important to remember the Upanishads, right? So there is this beautiful mnemonic sloka. All the 10 names are there in this sloka. So if we learn one sloka, we will know all the 10 names from the Upanishads. Okay? So So I will recite that. You can repeat after me. Isha kena kata prashna.
Isha kena kata prashna.
Mundamandukya tittiri.
Mundamandukya tittiri.
Chandogya aitareyam cha.
Chandogya aitareyam cha.
Brihadaranyakam tata.
Brihadaranyakam tata.
Ishakena kata prashna.
Ishakena kata prashna.
Mundamandukya tittiri.
Mundamandukya tittiri.
Chandogya aitareyam cha.
Chandogya aitareyam cha.
Brihadaranyakam tatha.
Brihadaranyakam tata.
So here if you notice, Isha, Ishavachopaniषद, Kena, Kenopaniषद, Kata, Katopaniषद, Prashna, Prashnopaniषद, Mundaka, Mundakopaniषद, Mandukya, Mandukyopaniषद, Tittiri, Taittiriupaniषद, Chandogya, Chandogyopanishad, Aitareyopanishad, Brihadaranyaka. So these are the 10 Upanishads. Okay. Now the homework for all of you. We learned the Samhita model, right? 1, 2, 2, 3. Attempt this particular sloka, okay, in that format, so that you can understand that as well as understand the sloka. It will be easy for us to buy out. Never in our life we will forget the sloka. Okay. So let's attempt doing that, dividing it into the different words. So I think this also has, limited number of words for us to attempt to start with. The entire Veda mantra, whatever they had to learn in their Shaka, they used to follow this pattern. Think about it. So learning Vedas was, 100% approved oral way of ensuring that nothing changes in it. If it changes in one part of Samhita, they will catch it in the other part. So corrections were made then and there. People could not make errors. Okay, so that is the way it went. So let's do a Kayena Vacha and wrap up for the day. Kayena Vacha Manasendriyaiva Buddhyatmana va Prakriti Swabhavat Karomi Yadyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanaayeti Samarpayami. Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanam.